Hi, parents. Deacon John Wilson here, Education Enrichment Director of West Angeles Church. Unfortunately, I have to come today after a period of 2.5 weeks of careful thought, careful consideration of what I would say. Although I did do an interview with Mary Louisa Palma, who's a parent activist, about the bill the governor signed that appears to restrict the ability of a school, teachers, administration, to tell you, the parent, that your son or daughter doesn't think they're the gender that they are. But we know we have 56 genders in Facebook, 9 for CSU and UC. I think you as a parent have a right to know, because get this, the school records legally belong to you in K through 12. And listen, we're talking about minors, everyone. I'm not talking about someone who's 18 years old. These are minor children, but it's part of this greater effort, in my opinion, as a man of God and a reasonable man, of the attack on our children. And I'm going to say more about this. Fathers that are hearing this, where are you on this? Mothers, you too. We're past the time where you can say, well, it won't affect my child, they won't change. Listen, 35% of youth think they're the opposite gender, according to a recent study. You mean to tell me that you believe that that decision at that age, 9, 10, 11, 12, even 15 or 16, are you telling me that that decision is always permanent? Because the next step is going to be, what are you going to do about it? And there's some legislation already pending to say that minors can get treatment with hormones without you knowing it. It's already true in divorce cases. They found that if one parent wants to do it, the other can't stop them. And then with the passage of this law, which listen to me, parents, it totally cordons you off from knowing. Now, this is for you, from knowing what's going on with your children. It's the kind of a thing that some of you ought to rethink whether your youth should be in public school. But some of you have to do it because you don't have the money. And because of that, that makes your children especially vulnerable. Parents, I know you're busy, and I'm going to do a video about your busyness. I understand with the economy the way it is, some of you are working 2 and 3 jobs. But pay attention to what's going on in the meetings in your school. Have you looked at the curriculum? The social studies curriculum in middle school and high school is loaded with information about LGBTQ, particularly transgenderism. And it's no wonder that these schools are thinking they see their influence in the kids. They're seeing there's kids at school more than you. And how often do you talk to them about gender? Do you tell them you're born a boy, you're born a girl? I don't think you have time. So one thing you should do is speak against it and fight with us. Because we're going to fight against this law. We want it reversed. We think that Newsom has made a major mistake. And in case you missed it, there is a law that's been passed that makes it illegal again for the school to tell you that your child's gender or the child wants to identify as a different gender. They don't have to tell you. Remember, they're doing the classes with them. Then we have clubs. We have these transgender clubs. And actually, they're called LGBTQ. But from all that I've seen, the transgenders have a very large influence on those clubs. Take a look at the news items as they came out. I'm going to try to keep this video short, but take a look at the news on this. Some of you haven't had a chance to hear the news. Take a look at the news on this.
Smith signed a bill that would ban school districts from notifying parents about a student's gender identity. That means school districts will have to remove policies that require parents to be informed if their child identifies as transgender. The passage of the bill comes after several districts across the state put similar notification policies in place without the student's consent. Staff can no longer be forced to disclose a student's sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression.
Here's another broadcast here, parents.
Is now law. Governor Newsom signed the bill into law today. The passage of the measure comes after several school districts across the state put those policies in place. Some of those policies were challenged in court. The proposal sparked heated.
I want to stress they were challenged in court, but there's been no decision by the courts yet. So the rest of the action will be in the courts to reverse. He quickly moved and passed the law to put pressure on the courts, probably. And it did spark heated debate at our Capitol. And it wasn't always a party line. It wasn't always party line disagreement with it. I mean, most Democrats supported this bill. It was highly supported by Democrats. And us who are religious Christians, evangelicals, take note. I had children, I would note this. They're taking away your power as a parent. Let's continue.
Debate at the Capitol this year. A couple of weeks ago, debate between lawmakers almost turned violent over the bill. Governor Newsom's office is blasting a lawsuit.
Here are the details about the lawsuit just filed against the ruling by Newsom that I want us to get behind. Parents, I want to help you to get behind this. We need to get behind this. I plan on being very active in opposition to this.
Challenging California's new transgender notification law. Newsom signed a bill prohibiting California school districts from having policies that require staff to notify parents if their child identifies as non-binary or transgender. Late last night, the Liberty Justice Center filed a lawsuit challenging the law, saying in part that school officials don't have the right to keep secrets from parents. Governor Newsom's office fired back, saying it's a deeply unserious lawsuit. LGBTQ advocate.
I'd like to know why he says it's not serious. This is a serious issue, man. I plan on writing the governor a letter on this. That he said it was an unserious issue bothers me. This is a serious issue, says the man. He says it's unserious. And his kids went all to expensive private schools. He could do whatever he wants. We're talking about a public school. This is a serious issue. It's not unserious. This stuff makes me righteously indignant. It is not a deeply unserious issue. He said deeply unserious lawsuit. It's our only chance to get back control as parents. I am tired of these schools, these public schools, who think that they are your child's parent. And I will fight, Deacon Wilson will fight with everything in him this next 6 months to protect your rights as a parent, whether you want to use them or not. Somebody's got to do it. Fathers, I'm telling you, I'm calling on you. I need your help. Email me. My email address will be down below. All the links to these videos. I need parent support. We need to build a mass of parent support for challenging this. The schools should have a right if they want. And by the way, the school boards in those districts voted for it. Those were parents that wanted this. But now you're reversing those parents. This is a deeply serious issue. He's clearly doing it for political reasons. Now he's not running for president. Now he can go buck wild. I totally find his statement here unsatisfactory. as the governor of the state. Sorry, I got a little angry, but that's the way I feel about your children. And your right to be a parent over your children. They're your children. They don't belong to the state like in some communist country or in World War II Germany. These are your children. God gave them to you. And who are we entrusting them to all those hours a day? People that are teaching them about LGBTQ. And they have this cell phone, this smartphone that I'm going to say more about it in their pocket, where they're hearing all about gender and all about gender issues. And they're learning that maybe their gender is not the way they were born. And now you add this to it. I already had trouble with things like coming out day. You can look at my earlier video on that. I'm sorry. Let's finish the video.
Kids are thrilled with the new law, saying it protects students and prevents districts from forcibly outing students. But those who oppose the legislation say it creates a divide between kids and their parents.
For my own self coming out, it was really important for me to have the opportunity to be able to share with who I wanted, when I was ready. Basic common.
By the way, any Christian that holds that a person that's LGBTQ is something wrong with them, is something wrong with that Christian. There could be something wrong with them, but we try to say that we can judge them. This is not about that. That's not my point. And also, I think that if parents are abusing their children because they are LGBTQ, now that becomes a totally different issue that we need to solve. But there is no evidence that this is a problem right now. And that young man who says he grew up as a gay man, I totally respect his situation, but his parents have a right to know if his gender is changing. Remember, gender and then sexuality are really different. But see, this is how they distort the issue. This is not really purely an LGB issue. It's a T issue. It's transgenderism. And I've spoken to gay parents. I have about 4 kind of around my program. One I haven't talked to in a while. And all 3 of the 4 I know, I hadn't talked to before, are opposed to all this pushing of transgenderism. Because after all, if you're a gay person, you are certainly knowing that you're one gender. We're talking about transgenderism here, ladies and gentlemen, about does a school have to tell you about gender? It's a gender notification bill. Let's continue and finish up.
In sense, tells us that parents have the ultimate responsibility to protect and defend their children.
Amen.
LGBTQ advocates say they plan to put up a fight against any legal challenges that do come up.
Okay, let's finish this up. So parents, in summary, I'll be coming to you. We need to get together as parents and fight that notification bill. If you have students in public school, matter of fact, some of the private schools are looking at this. There's a super episode. I'm gonna see if I can do a separate video on it right after this of a popular show on that someone told me about. And I didn't think it was very important until now, but it's getting in the media. It's getting in TV shows. Parents, I need you to take this seriously and take back your right. And I would argue your responsibility to be the great parent in every way that I know you are. Thank you very much.